یزدان از دوستان ما که همیشه پیشقدم بودن در کارهای فرهنگی و کارهای سیاسی ایرانی خواهش میکنم بیان چند دقیقه از طرف سازمان فرهنگ ایران زمین صحبت بکنن. جناب آقای دکتر.
Ladies and gentlemen, سلوت بر شما و سلوت با دلاوران جوان ایران که جلوی اون خونخواران استادند. ولی پیام امروز من برای آقای پرزیدنت اوباماست. Dear Mr. President, we would like to present Mahmoud Ahmadinejad to you and tell you who he is. Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, Mr. President, is a terrorist. Oh, no, he's not a regular terrorist. He's a mega terrorist. This misbegotten midget, miscreant, is called the Butcher of Tehran. This terrorist has got the blood of thousands of our innocent Iranian people on his hand. As if that is not horrible enough, he has got the blood of thousands of American soldiers on his hand by supporting the insurgents. Mr. President, this terrorist is not representative of Iranian people. He's not elected. Why did you let him come in here to insult American people and insult Iranian community? Why, Mr. President? We demand that you get up at the United Nations and condemn and declare that regime is illegitimate. We don't recognize it. To complete my address, I want you to all chant Neda, 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 Neda,
خانم آقایون، ما براتون یه سورپرایز داریم. هنرمند متعهد و وطن پرستمون خانم شیفته اینجا هستن. از ایشون خواهش کردیم که چون ما زمان قرار نذاشته بودیم برای ایشون و امروز تشریف آوردن، خواهش کردیم که مدتشو در حدود 3 دقیقه نگه دارن. قربان شما.
Long live the American Iranian solidarity. Long live freedom. Long live democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, the honorable members of the United Nations and American policymakers, members of the press, 30 years of torture, 30 years of executions, 30 years of illegal imprisonment, 30 years of oppression of the people who once were the pioneers of human rights, 30 years of abuse of the women who once held the positions of commander-in-chief. How long would it take for the world to realize the cause of of international terrorism? How long do you close your eyes on duplicity and political trickery of the brutal regime? How much more evidence on brutalization of peaceful protesters, abduction of innocents, and rape do you wish to have before you stand for all those who long for freedom and democracy in Iran? What is the expected outcome of holding talks with the terrorist regime? What do you hope to accomplish by giving credibility to a tyrant regime whose very nature is clearly rejected by the Iranian people? What would it take for you to hear the loud and clear cry of freedom-loving people of Iran for a secular government? Ladies and gentlemen, it is naive and unrealistic to believe that the behavior of the Islamic regime can be changed through the use of incentives. The idea of exporting the Islamic revolution is a fundamental part of the regime. This is an organization called God's Army, created by the regime to pursue this goal. This organization is part of the power structure in Iran. It trains young volunteers for suicide bombing all over the world. There is also a military seminary school in the city of Qom called Mofid School, where ideological brainwashing of vulnerable young Iranians occurs. Those young recruits are given a key to heaven before committing their attacks. The terrorist activities of the Islamic regime cannot be stopped by making promises. It is written into their constitution that fundamentalist Islamic ideology should conquer the world. The severity of this is apparently not understood by the West. The Islamic regime believes that there is a war between militant Islam and the rest of the world. This regime feeds its supporters by using this ideological animosity. By adopting this so-called God-given mandate arbitrarily interpreted from the Quran, the Islamic regime has become the biggest sponsor of terrorism. There is no doubt that the nuclear ambitions and activities of the Islamic regime are a danger to the whole world and must be stopped. However, it's a huge mistake to ignore the terrorist nature of this regime and assume that it can be brought into the world community by bribes and lucrative incentives. The reality of the Islamic regime, based on its track record, is that the existence of the oppressive government is not only a daily danger to the lives of millions of Iranians, it is a danger to the entire world. This threat must be removed.